Hello, my name is Ernest Chi Cho, and I'd like to spend the next 5 minutes discussing the place of religion in the mainstream media. My guest is Tony Kans, editor and publisher of A Journey Through NYC Religions, but a website focused on reporting religion in the New York City area. My first question to Kans was about his view on how much coverage religion should get in the mainstream media.
It should get a lot more for strategic reasons and to cover the world and what is happening in people's lives. Of course, we know the terrible events, like the events in Boston, which are definitely the biggest story around. It's a religious story, and we need to have more expertise and more understanding about that story, but also about the positive things that are going on. That is the great strength that religions bring. For example, here in New York City, religions contribute over $2.5 billion worth of social services a year to the city. That's a huge amount, and some of it's very innovative, some of it's wonderful. Not everything is great. There's a downside and upside of any phenomenon, including religion. But the fact that it is the heart of the matter from a lot of people in the world is not really becoming more secular in that sense. The world is becoming more religiously full and active. New York is also an example of that religion has grown in New York faster than in the last 100 years. So if it's one of the top 5 stories in New York City or in the world, it should have a place every day, at least once a week should be a big feature on the front page.
So where's the problem? Editors shying away from religious stories, and why? What do you think?
Well, the problem is several levels. One, there was the sense that there was sort of a secularism that pervaded our view of society. The idea that societies are getting more and more secular and religion's a thing of the past. Another problem is that because our universities grew in the United States at a very secular period, a lot of our journalism schools are essentially secular. If you ask, is there how many Orthodox Jews are in the journalism schools in New York City? 1, 2, here at Columbia, actually. How many evangelical Christians are in journalism schools in New York City? 0. How many conservative Catholics or conservative Muslims are in journalism schools and professors at those schools? Very few. In other words, if you take the 1,200 members of the New York Times staff or the people that teach journalism school, most of them are fairly secular people. And the problem with that is it makes us unprepared to know really what's going on in the world. And when it does happen, for good or for ill, we have a hard time getting a hold of it.
So how religious must someone be to be able to cover religion very well? Because we seem to have a problem with people, both students and professors, not being religious.
Well, I don't think that it's a matter of whether you're religious or not, though that's important. First is you've got to have a method of journalism that really listens to the people that you're covering. Most journalism schools say, start off with skepticism, then go to objectivity, then have sympathy at the end. And that's based on the investigative journal model. You do need religious people on the staff, not for the same reason you need African Americans, you need Chinese Americans, you need people from overseas on staffs, because they have a much quicker grasp of the inherent nature of the phenomena you're doing, and also they give voice and say, hey, you're sort of missing the point here.
All right, just want to make sure I understood you very well. So, does being a Christian, for example, determine how good a journalist, a religion reporter you would be?
Well, every faith has...
I mean, reporting Christianity, for example. If you're not a Christian, do you think a non-Christian could be a great reporter when it comes to Christianity?
A Christian could be a great reporter about
Christianity?
About Christianity, of course.
Okay. I have the impression that religion is not rated high as an area of specialization for many young journalists. So let's assume you're standing in front of a class of thousands of journalism students, say Columbia, for example, and you have to make the case for religion. Why should these young people specialize in religion? What would be your pitch?
The pitch would be, look at the front page this week. That's all religion stories. That's one pitch. The hottest thing going in stories is religion. What I would say is it's smart to know more about religion because the world has lots of religious dimensions that we need to know about, and it's dumb not to be. And the papers need, and news media in general need to have that capability.